Yeah, so thank you for making the time again this week. Kind of just tell me about last week. What was your biggest takeaway from that game and what did you see?
Yeah. Well, first off, offensively, I think we, of course, didn't score enough points. Obviously, that's why we lost, right? But our tempo was nice. We were able to run 99 plays on offense. And just under that, defense is only on the field for 41 plays, so that's a huge accomplishment for us in terms of keeping our defense fresh. We were able to outgain them in yards, so I think that's the first time in a while we've had over 400 yards of total offense. So there was some definite positives, but I just didn't play well enough, turned the ball over, too many mistakes. It cost us.
Mhm. When you talk about those turnovers, how do you go about cleaning those up in practice? What's your big emphasis so far this week?
That's a great question, Ali. It's really decision making. Right? At the end of the day, especially in the red zone, right? Just understanding where we can go with the football and where we can't. The safer throws, the non-safer throws, placement wise, and just having those conversations. The good thing is both of our quarterbacks, between Carter and Braden, are both IQ kids, and so they understand it. And this week, it's really been working on situation wise. If we're in this situation, this is what we need to get. What's the worst thing that can possibly happen? Cool. If that's the worst thing, then we need to work on the opposite, right? So we can live to get a 1 yard gain and we can live to get this, but we can't turn the ball over. We can't hurt ourselves and hurt our chances from scoring.
Carter, how's he feeling? I know he went out with an injury this past week. How's he doing?
He's good. He bounced back like a round ball. He's all right.
Obviously have your backup coming in there. What does it say about him coming in and holding down the fort a little bit while Carter was out?
Yeah, Burst, he's a stud. He has a bright future ahead of him. The kid can really sling it. The players love him. He's a great leader. So I think being able to kind of have that tutelage from Carter and seeing how he does things and seeing how it goes has really been a huge confidence boost for him. But Braden is a hell of a kid. He's a great dude. Very smart, very high IQ kid. He wants to learn. He wants to be the best that he can be. And so I think the competition between the two of them have also pushed Carter to improve his throwing abilities, his willingness to do certain things that we weren't able to do last year. You have someone behind you that's willing to do it. It kind of lights a fire underneath you.
Before Carter did go out, got you guys on the board there. What kind of fight did you see from him throughout that game to get you guys going offensively there?
That kid was tough. He got hit pretty hard. Defensively, they were flying around. They were being really physical, and kudos to Battle for that. Not only that, but I feel like they made it a point to get hands on number one anytime that they could, and they did a phenomenal job of doing that. So Carter's ability to withstand that, along with how fast we were going, physically, that was a lot. So his ability, again, just to stand in and lead the offense and do what he needed to do was awesome to see.
Saw a lot of involvement from Brock Camp last week. That kid's got some hops. Do you see that in practice? He could jump up there pretty high, get those balls.
He can. He's a hell of a wide receiver. And as a tight end, he's a threat. Right? In the middle of the field is open. I think that was one of those things, a huge blossom for him. And we talked about that he's just kind of scratching the potential. But it's a really scary thing for a kid to kind of go across the middle and expose your body like that. And Brock did it effortlessly, time after time, came down with the football, was able to withstand the hit and get up like it was nothing. And so for him, the confidence piece of being able to go down the middle and do that is now off the charts. And that's something that almost to a negative, to the sense where that's where he wants to go, just send me down the middle. I got you. The teams are going to start planning for that, buddy. So, but it's one of those things that, again, just watching him mature and watching him grow and understand his football IQ and having the conversations on the sideline that if this safety goes here, there's no way that they can cover me. Just look for me right after this. And those are conversations that were had between players. No coaches were talking to him about those things. And so, again, just like we said, just the maturity of the kid and the growth is awesome. Like I said, I think he's just scratching potential.
Having a kid who's willing to put his body kind of on the line like that for your offense. Offensively, what does that do for you guys? Having a guy that's going to go out there like that every play.
It's huge momentum between him and Lucas Murray. Lucas Murray was banged up with the shoulder and was still making huge catches. We had some guys that are really battling injuries, some guys on the O line that are battling injuries as well. And I think anytime that you're willing to sacrifice yourself for the team, it speaks volume. One, how you view the team. Two, how that team will impact and view you ultimately. And so for those guys to be able to sacrifice themselves for the greater good is awesome.
What do you see from Smith Cotton this week? What's the biggest thing you've noticed from them so far to start the year?
Well, they do have some athletes. I really like their running back, Mylan Hawkins. He's a fast kid. I think their quarterback has a decent arm. He can throw the ball out there and really do some things. And then on the back end, defensively, they cause a lot of pressure. They blitz a lot. They generate a lot of negative plays. And so that's one of those things that we can hold up front, and then also just make sure our read game is right. They do some things that confuse our kids. So it's going to be a challenge for Carter to make sure, and Braden to make sure that they can understand the defense and make sure that the ball's going in the right spot. But one thing that I see a lot is just, they don't stop. They haven't been in too many games. With that being said, they're still fighting. They're still doing what they do. They haven't changed their tendency. They haven't gotten out of their comfort zone. And I think that speaks volume. That's the one thing that we talked about a lot on Monday, that Alvis, you look at Elias, we're down. All of a sudden, our run pass ratio is skewed, and we're passing the ball way more than we're running the ball. The same thing for Cap City. We're down. And so I want to score. I want to try to pass the ball. And that's one thing that I give Coach Gray his compliments that dude sticks to his guns. He runs what he does, and his kids have confidence in that.
Well, when you're looking at a guy like Mylon Hawkins, how do you plan for that kind of thing? Obviously, without giving anything away, how do you plan for a guy like that?
It's about tackling and making sure that we're gap sound. Last week there's a couple of plays where we were not gap sound, and Chris was able to exploit us and make huge gains for that. And what I've told our defense this week is Mylon is faster than Chris. So if we give Mylon the exact same holes, that kid's going to be gone. And he's smaller, so it's going to be a lot harder to see. He's going to get up on you a little bit quicker. He's able to make you miss. And then again, having the speed to go the distance. And so if we can correct some of those fundamental errors that we made, and then again, just improve on our tackling, we should be okay.
I talked to other coaches about this when you have, a win streak going over another team. How do you kind of talk to your guys to make sure there's no complacency and a thing like that of like, oh, we got this. You know what I mean? When you have a win.
Well, I think for us, we're in that situation that every team that plays us has confidence. And even though we are on a win streak, so to speak, on these guys, the one thing about them is every year it's been a close game, right? That you look at the scores that they've had going into the game. You look at the scores that we've had going into the game, and then the scores between each other the past couple of years, it's been within 10 to 15 points. So it's nowhere near what they're used to. It's not what we're used to. And so mentally, you got to prepare to be in a dogfight.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the time. Looking forward to seeing you guys out there on Friday.
Not a problem, Alec. Thank you for having me.
Have a good one.
You too now.
Bye.
Bye.